Alright, hi everybody. It's Bonkai 922 here to bring you another episode review. I know some people don't like this show, and came to my attention from Gods of War that apparently neither does the creator of this show. Of course, I'm talking about Magical Warfare Episode 2 review. And you're probably wondering what I mean by that. Gods of War sent me an article on Anime News Network about the creator of the light novels of Magical Warfare. He didn't want it to be an anime. I'm not joking around, that's the truth. He says he thought it was interesting the way they did it and everything, but in his words, he says, it felt like I got plunged or hit by a bamboo sword. It was funny. I say that's funny because in episode 1, that's beside the point. Now, on that note, this is episode 2, Another World. I would say his concerns are there. I will give it, though, at least in this episode, they explained a few things. They explained some interesting things about what's going on and what happened, at least to a certain extent. But yeah, this show isn't... The fact that article came out, I find it surprising, because the fact that the creator came out and said he didn't want it to be an anime, that just blows my mind. I'm like, whoa. But, what are you going to do? But anyway, let's get into this episode review of Magical Warfare. I mean, killing her shotgun, she doesn't think it's a gem at all and stuff. I would say, I would sort of agree with her to a certain extent. Because you can see that there are certain things that they left out in episode 1. Hopefully, they fill those gaps later on. This episode pretty much was them going into the Magical Academy in this other world. And we get an explanation that apparently in this other world, what transpired. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of references in this episode of, I don't want to say Harry Potter, but there were a lot of references that suggested, that kind of world. Magical families, pure bloods, that kind of stuff. But essentially what happened, they explain what happened. The reason there are 2 worlds, because long ago, there was a war. And there was this magician who made this spell. The spell's name eludes me at the moment, but the spell, when he said it, what it was supposed to do was destroy all humans. Everyone. All the humans. Completely annihilate them. And when I say humans, I'm thinking it means normal people. And basically, what prevented that from happening, I believe it's 15, no, not 15, I think it was 15 or 12 magicians stood against him and prevented it from happening. And while they prevented it by using their magic to prevent it, all at once, they all gathered their magic and prevented it from happening and actually split the world in 2. The magical world and the regular human world. And that's basically what happened there. They explain that. They also... The head, I guess you could say, director of the academy, who's a little girl, basically states, gives them a choice, gives Naruse, him, takeshi, and his 2 friends, I believe it's Ida, and Origami, not origami. Kurumi. So Kurumi and Ida are given a choice, along with Takeshi, to rather stay there and learn magic, but you can't go back to the world the world they were from, the human world, or we take your magic away and you go home. So Takeshi decides, I'm staying here, and the whole premise of it is, was probably because of his house life. He didn't want to go back home. So they end up staying there, and they end up having to learn magic. And we get the whole gist of there are like 6 different magics. Destructive, evasive is what Takeshi knows. Black magic. It was a bunch of them. And they find out, obviously, that Ida has destructive magic. Kurumi has transforming magic. And Takeshi has evasive. So what ends up happening is they're going to class, which is the C class, and it's known as the class of hell, which I found funny in this episode. And the professor tells him, "Oh, you'll need to find what is known as the word eludes me at the moment. An aspect, I believe that's what they said. Also, we find out there are 2 fronts in this world of magicians. There's the wizard brace and wizard trailers. Wizard trailers are the bad guys. The ones that are trying to destroy the world, all that sort of jazz. Rule it. And wizard brace is what they are. And basically, you need an aspect to control your magic with. So, Kurumi has an aspect, and Ida has an aspect. So he's going with Miyu. I'm going to call her Miyu. Miyu. To go to this shop to get an aspect. And she begins to tell him, they small talk, talking about her thing, her gun, where she got it from. She calls it Arthur. Well, not Arthur. Call it some name. They give the names there. They name their aspects. So he goes with her to this shop. This guy Pops to get an aspect. And we also, besides that, go back to his house, and we see his mother and this brother of his. I'm going to say it right now. That brother is probably going to show up later in this show, and Takeshi's probably going to have to fight him. And this is probably, and this is a good show, it's not great. I might have said, oh, it's a hidden gem. Obviously, that's not true to a certain extent. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we see him, and, his name's Gecko, I think. Froze there a little bit. Anyway, his name's Gecko, and he's kind of a son of a bitch. He doesn't like his brother at all, Takeshi. And we see him, he's like snarling and shit. But Takeshi goes to the shop with Miyu. And they acquire this sword that was also used by one that uses evasive magic, which was a female. And pretty much it looks weird looking though. It's got a sheath, not your normal looking katana, because the story with it is he unsheaths it and he starts fighting the Pops guy, and it activates. It has a magical circle on there, and it activates. And it basically is absorbing all of his magical strength. And this is actually what is known as a gun sword, which I found very surprising. That requires you to put in magic in it. It's got cartridges and everything. So he gives him these 3 bullets when he activates it. And he's telling him you can use other people's magic into your sword. Yeah. So that was kind of an interesting thing to suggest. So that's what we find out there. The other thing, and after that, we have them going back to the classroom. And Hyde just blew the shit. His magic went out of control, blew the shit out of everything. Because Class C is known as the class of hell or something. And I forgot to mention about the thing that she was talking, that Mia was talking to Takeshi about. Purebloods. Hey, I said Harry Potter. Her family is a pureblood. She's a pureblood, Miyu. Because her father did magic and so on and so forth. So that was the whole bit there. Then at the end of the episode, we finally see a few other people who are a part of Wizard trailers. And basically this one girl, we don't see her face at the moment, just annihilated the Wizard brace. The other Wizard braces. They just annihilate them. Just killed them. And we see this guy with like kind of silvery hair meeting up with her. Most likely he's the one that's going to be the main guy leading the charge, I think. And they get in this car and then the car just disappears. And that's kind of where the episode ends. Now, going to give this a 4 out of 5. I said it before. I said it in my Nobu no Gun review. That Nobu no Gun is definitely better than this. And it's just truth. It's just the way it is. But this is still a good show. Even though I told you guys just that, and I'll see if I can, in the link below, put that article about that announcement. But even though the creator didn't want this animated, it got animated anyway. Hey, that's just the way it is. But overall, like the concept, like the fact that they explain a few things about the world, about magic. They at least did that in this episode. And to some extent, it looks promising. I'll say that. It looks promising. I can see a few things in it that are going to make me interested to keep watching. But I want to see... I just hope that it doesn't, fall too short. I just hope it doesn't fall too short. But we'll see. I mean, right now, what I can say that is promising for this show is the music. The ending theme. Oh, the ending theme is pretty boss. So at least that's going for it. If not the story or the animation. Give or take. But yeah, good episode. I mean, it could have been a little bit better. But like I said, the creator didn't want this animated. I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, ugh. But still, it's better than nothing. I'm wondering though. The one thing I'm wondering about this show now with Takeshi is what magic he's going to put in those bullets, in the cartridge, and how he's going to fight with it later on. Because obviously he has to learn how to control this sword and how to use the magic on it and stuff and so on and so forth. So we'll have to see, down the road. We'll see. Nothing else to state. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking about doing this. Not now, but, and this is the last thing I want to mention in this review. In probably April, I think that's the best bet to do it. In April, I'm thinking about doing a top 10 list. I'll tell you guys later on what I'm thinking about. It's going to involve a certain monster series. That's all I can tell you for now. But you'll get the gist of it later on, right? Later on. But that's the story, people. Bankai 922. See you guys later. Next up, I guess, will be Strike the Blood. Oh, Strike the Blood. Anyway, I'm Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Peace.